Hi, my name is Crystal and welcome to my channel, PCS into Fort Bragg. On this channel, I will be discussing everything that you need in preparation to move into Fort Bragg, North Carolina, everything about the house market and living in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So in today's video, we're going to discuss the essentials and the pros and cons of moving to Fayetteville, Fort Bragg and surrounding areas. So we'll go over everything from what you will need to bring with you for your PCS move in order to purchase a house. We'll go over some pros and cons of the area and things that you should know when purchasing a home here. So without further ado, let's get into these tips. I will be looking down at my laptop because although I do this every day in the real estate field, talking on video is new, okay? So let's start with everything that you will need to make sure that you have on hand, on deck when you come here, or even before, because you can start the process before. So personal identification. So you will need a government issued ID, a photo ID. So this can either be a driver's license or a passport. It cannot be expired. Whenever you go to close on your home, they cannot have or use an expired ID. So it has to be valid and up to date. You will also need your social security number. If you have your social security card on hand, that's very good, but your social security number is what you will need. So let's talk about income verification. So for W-2 employees, you're gonna need your most 2 years recent tax returns, your most recent 30-day pay stubs. If you have self-employment income that you're going to be used, or you're an independent contractor of some sort, you would also need your last 2 years of your personal and business tax returns with all schedules, your year-to-date P&L statements, your profit and loss statements, 1099, business license, or proof of self-employment. So additional income, if you're using additional income, like say you have a side gig and you want to add that money in order to qualify for more of a home or more of a loan, you will need your Social Security award letter, your pension or retirement income documents, alimony or child support. This is not something that you necessarily have to use, but like I said, if you want to add it in, then make sure you have the documentation. Rental income. So if you receive any type of rental income, you need to show lease agreements and your tax returns where that profit has been filed for at least 2 years. So let's talk about the PCS process and the VA loan. So in order to use your VA loan, you have to have your VA entitlement. If you do not have your VA entitlement, I will recommend getting with a certified lender that specializes in VA loans, because they can help you get your entitlement to use your VA loans. That's going to be very essential. So these are things that you want to start as soon as you get those orders. These are things that you want to start preparing for, whether you're out of the country or out of the state, before you get here, because when you start the process, things start rolling rapidly, and all of these things will be required. Let's talk about outpost neighborhoods. These are any neighborhoods outside of the gates of Fort Bragg. So we have Spring Lake is close. There's a lot of new construction and there's a lot of older homes. So as a disclaimer, there are a lot of older homes everywhere. This region is expanding, and as it expands, the rural areas are also expanding. So we do have a lot of new construction and a lot of pre-existing homes as well. So we have Spring Lake is very close to Fort Bragg, very, very close to Fort Bragg. Hope Mills, which is family friendly. I like that area. Rayford is more rural, but you get more space. And that's the good thing about some of these newly developed rural areas. If you're looking for more acreage or more land with your home, you're pretty much, able to get that in some areas or neighborhoods, because the price of the land is lower than in the inner city, so to say. So you have Eastover. I would recommend any of these neighborhoods. The great thing about the rural areas now is we have the 295 highway system, which pretty much connects everything in close proximity, where you can get on the highway, where versus it probably would have took you 45 minutes, beforehand. Now it may take you 20 minutes to get somewhere using the 295 system. And they are continuously doing road work and working on these systems to expand further out so that more people have the convenience of, getting to work and wherever they have to go with less traffic. But one thing I would recommend is that when you're looking for a house, make sure you check your gate. When you're getting here, know what gate that you're going to be checking into work or going to post on, because that is important, because you don't want to go all the way around. You want to, buy your house at least in the vicinity or the quickest route to the gate, taking your commute time into consideration. So let's talk about the pros of living in Fayetteville. Fayetteville does offer affordable housing. We have gone up as the country has gone up, period, after COVID. We had a lot of people to move from the northern states, from the West Coast, where they sold their homes for more money, and it drove our market up because they were willing to pay the higher prices. So that set a price and it drove our properties up, so to say, because they were bringing all that big money, and it sort of has pushed a lot of people out from affordability. But if you're PCS in here, I'm pretty sure that coming from some of the areas that you're coming from, it is still affordable, especially if you're coming from the West Coast. So it's a lower cost of living. And most military families, BAH covers the rent or mortgage. So we do have a very strong military community. We have events, support networks, sense of belonging. Even if you go to the stores or a lot of places, they'll ask you if you're military, because you will get some type of discount, whether it's a 10% discount or whatever. The military aspect of, appreciation is very, very strong here. Of course, because we are the largest base in the US, I believe. If not the second, but the first. Okay. So recreation and nature. So I myself love nature. I love the parks. I love the trails here and everything. So a few of the trails that I love here is the Cape Fear River Trail. You have Raven Rock, which is in Lillington. Further out, like past Spring Lake, down Ramsey Street. Botanical Gardens, which is beautiful. I would suggest that you go if you're looking to have a wedding when you get here, or get married, or some type of event. I would definitely check that out. Food and culture. So we do have international cuisine, because Fayetteville is like a melting pot. So you have so many different people that come here and live here. And in the most recent years, I have witnessed just going to the park and hearing people speak different languages. And I'm talking Italian, Portuguese, just different languages, period. And I've never experienced that in Fayetteville. I've experienced it in different places that I've traveled, but never really in Fayetteville. So that just goes to show how much we are growing and expanding culturally also. So we have coffee shops. We have quite a few breweries here. So if you're into, beer tasting and the different things, then we have breweries. So location perks. So we are an hour and a half, not really. We're depending on where you are, about an hour outside of Raleigh, 2 hours to the beaches, and 4 hours to the mountains. So you can jump in your car at any moment and explore the state. We do have a beautiful state, and we have a lot to offer. And even South Carolina is in close proximity. Myrtle Beach is like 2 hours away from us. So we have mild winters. Our winters, to me lately, have been very short, but very cold. It's funny because I was just talking to my aunt from Philadelphia, and she's like, it's not cold here. But for North Carolinian, very short and very cold winters. So just be mindful of that. You enjoy year-round weather. I would say fall, spring, our weather is really tricky. So dress or have all 4 seasons accessible, because you never know. I mean, it can drastically go from a 40-degree freezing night, and then the next day 95 degrees. And I'm dead serious. I'm not even playing with you. So just be prepared for that because the weather is crazy. Our summers are very nice. It's just now, well, it's starting to get cool here. Like, ironically, like it feels like fall today in the evening, but it felt nice today. But it has been extremely hot, like extremely hot some days. So the summers are very nice. So you get to enjoy them for a while. And yeah, so let's get into the crime rate. Everywhere you go, you know there's going to be something. So yes, certain areas do have high crime, but safe neighborhoods are plentiful. So we always advise that you research the neighborhood and, you know, ask local help. Talk to your battle buddies, talk to people that you know here that can give you hands-on information. And I definitely can too. So just be mindful of that. We do have a slower job market outside of the military. If you're not a contractor or military, outside of looking for jobs, you know, you have your local county systems, of course, but we're not really heavy in any systems other than military, so to say, and the county. And we do have a few factories, different things like that, but that's irrelevant to you because you're PCS in here, so we know that you're in the military. But if you decide to retire here, just so you'll know, offer a lot of opportunities, like I said, if you're in contracting, healthcare, and education. So let's talk about traffic. As I said, they are opening up the 295 system where you have easier access. I know that like in rural areas is easier to access. So whereas people wouldn't have bought houses because it was so far away, now the 295 system gives them the option to get to work quicker. After you get off of the 295 system, you may hit some traffic depending on where you have to get off. Like if you're getting off at Clifton in the morning, you're going to hit a little traffic, but the 295 system does cut it down a lot more, which makes it a great benefit. Most families drive and neighborhoods are car friendly. I wouldn't suggest that you come here and think that you can ride a bike and get around. There's some places like downtown, you know, depending on what you do and where you go on a daily basis, I would definitely suggest a car. So just come prepared that our transportation system will require a car. As I said before, living near your gate or choosing the right neighborhood is very important to your commute and commute time, because commuting is having quality of life. You don't want to be getting off of work and then you're in traffic. It's not even necessary to, you know, really do that around here. This is not Atlanta or anything, or a huge city. So, you know, if that's important to you in quality of life, choose a house that, you know, has a quicker commute. There's plenty of options around here. If you're looking for big city entertainment, like you like to club, go out, we don't really have that. But you can drive to Raleigh. Charlotte is like an hour and a half away or 2 hours, depending on where you're at. So if you want big city entertainment and more things to offer, then, you know, those are your options to get on the road, hit the highway. But we do offer festivals. Downtown Fayetteville does a lot of things like 4th Fridays. Throughout the different areas, there are different festivals and activities offered. So depending on how you live your life, there's always, you know, something that you can find to do, whether it's up the road or around here locally. I just would say, you know, just stay in contact and with what's going on locally so that you will know, so you won't miss anything. So we do have a local minor league team. They just built a baseball stadium a few years ago, which is really nice, which is the home of the Woodpeckers. We have some museums, but if you really, really want to, you know, explore museums, Raleigh or Charlotte would be a good place. Like I said, quick drives to Raleigh and Charlotte. Limited public transit. We do have public transportation, which is a bus system, but because our area is so large and it spans to rural areas, it makes it harder for everyone to be able to utilize those services because the bus stops aren't way out there. You would actually have to drive to a bus stop and wait, and then you wouldn't have a way to get home. So like I said, don't depend on public transportation. Okay, so my last point to drive home, let's talk about the DMV and the driver's license office. So my recommendation would be to prepare yourself for how long it would take to get your license here, or renew your tags, or anything that has to do with licensing and your car registration, because you're going to spend a whole day, if not. I recently found out a little hack going to another town, which is an hour drive. But in all seriousness, and I say this to you, if you were coming here and you know that you're moving here, be prepared to wait, okay? So in that time in between getting your orders, coming here, and before you actually go to work or check into, your duty station or whatever, plan to take the time out to go to the DMV. Different DMVs have different systems, but usually all of them around the area is a wait time. So I'm talking like you could be number 700 and something. Go there, check in when they open, and still not be seen. So prepare yourself to wait, okay? So have your business in order, everything that you need so that you can come here and wait. Okay, so let's talk about taxes. So we know pre-COVID, everything was different. After COVID and during COVID, nothing was the same. Everything increased. The price of lumber, the price of labor, just everything increased. The housing market went up, as I said, by people coming here and raising the market up when they were moving from different states that were higher than North Carolina or our affordability factor. So when you're buying a new construction home, be mindful that the amount of taxes that you're paying for the new construction home, or that your mortgage is going to be estimated as, will not be the same a year from later. I have seen it happen where even on existing homes, taxes have been raised because, of course, the assessed value has gone up as the market has gone up. So just be prepared to speak with your lender about how much you can actually afford, because what you will be paying when you purchase the house may not be the same a year later when they do the true assessment of the taxes. When you were first put in a contract on a new construction home, they are only assessing the taxes on the raw land that is built on and the house. When you first put a contract on your new construction home, the taxes are assessed as the raw land. So you are only paying taxes or getting an estimate on that raw land. A year later, when they come back and they do your tax assessments, they're going to reassess with the home, and they'll have seen people's mortgages significantly increase because they did not expect what they will be paying this year is what they signed up for. So just be mindful of that. Like, really think about, if you want new construction, go as low as you can with the maximum of getting everything that you want, especially if you're on a budget. Like, you don't want that increase to, make you house poor, and then you're paying $700 more in a mortgage. And I've seen it happen. All in all, wrapping it up, Fayetteville is very military friendly. It's a nice town to live in. And not only Fayetteville, but other surrounding areas like Spring Lake, Hope Mills, everything that I told you about. So plan your move very carefully, do your research, ask your battle buddies, ask your friends, anyone who you know who lives here. Just do your research. Come back to this channel, of course, because I will be giving you more information. And the pros outweigh the cons with the right preparation. You gotta come here anyway, so you might as well know what you need to know up front and figure out how to make the situation as best as possible during your duration for your family here. Okay, so I invite you to subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so that when I post, you will know, and you can continue to, learn more as your PCS into the Fayetteville, Fort Bragg area. All my information is in the description and in my about page. If you would like to book a 30-minute consultation where we can talk about whatever you need to know about moving to Fayetteville, or you want to get with the lender to start your VA loan process, also click the link in the description. Thank you. I hope this video has helped you in some type of way, some information. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments or send me an email. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.